Hello and welcome back to the channel everyone. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. अभी तक तुम लोग ने थंबनेल के थ्रू देख ही लिया होगा that what we are studying today, what we are going to start with. We are going to start with 2.5 Let's March, written by Kailash Satyarthi, 1954. This chapter comprises of three parts: part 1, part 2, and part 3. We are going to cover part 1 today. In second lecture, we are going to cover part 2, and third lecture, we are going to cover part 3. So let us get started with the chapter without wasting any time, because the chapter is quite a huge one and I am taking a lecture after 2 days. So तुम लोग बाकी सब lectures तो देखते ही होंगे. So let us get started. I won't be wasting my time. Let's March, written by Kailash Satyarthi. So now basically this chapter deals with just one word: children. ठीक है, इनके ही सराउंडेड है पूरा चैप्टर. तो चैप्टर टॉक्स अबाउट दीज पीपल. ओके, चिल्ड्रन. Kailash Satyarthi, 1954, is an Indian children's right and education advocate and an activist against child labor. He founded the Bachpan Bachao Andolan in 1980 and has acted to protect the rights of more than 83,000 children across 144 countries. Now, Kailash Satyarthi was born in 1954 and he is the founder of Bachpan Bachao Andolan, which was started in the year 1980, and he has served his services to children, more than 83,000 children across 144 countries. So this is not a small contribution, it is quite a huge contribution which makes him a remarkable person in this world. Okay? He has been honored with many awards, including Nobel Peace Prize of 2014. In the year 2014, he has been awarded with Nobel Peace Prize. He had addressed this speech on the eve of Nobel Prize distribution ceremony. Okay, when he was receiving this particular ceremony, मतलब prize जब वो receive कर रहे थे, he delivered a speech. Now that speech has been given in this chapter. What speech is that? We are going to start with part 1 of the speech. My dear children of the world, your majesties, your royal highnesses, excellencies, distinguished members of Norwegian Nobel Committee, dear brother Tom Harkin, brothers and sisters, and my dear daughter Malala. Now he is addressing everyone, the distinguished guests to the, so from the top level person to the lowest level person. He is addressing everyone, including his daughter Malala. Also one of the person called Tom Harkin, which he has addressed his dear brother. Okay, he is addressing everyone with a greater form of respect. Okay, those big words are the words which we also use, like distinguished guest, of honors and all. So those words are the words of respect to each and every person sitting in the audience. From this podium means the stand from which we deliver, जिस पे माइक लगा रहता है ना, एक स्टैंड रहता है, that is called podium. From this podium of peace and humanity, I am deeply honored to recite a mantra from ancient texts of wisdom, Vedas. This mantra carries a prayer, an aspiration, and a resolve that has the potential to liberate humanity from all man-made crises. Now he is reminding, he is telling people in his speech, he is addressing people with a mantra given in Vedas from the ancient times, a Hindu Vedas ritual book, which mentions that he is going to mention what is that particular mantra, that if we all think alike, which is not possible right now, but the thing is, he is just addressing the mantra. Okay, he says the world is going through a man-made crisis and we all can stop that man-made crisis if we all think positively in a resolution way. Okay, if we are trying to solve that particular man-made crisis, if we all try to solve that, we can make sure that we will solve that particular problem. We will solve that man-made crisis, whichever it be. Okay, but right now the man-made crisis which he is addressing is child trafficking, child laborer, and जो भी है बच्चों के साथ जो भी atrocities होती है, he is addressing that particular thing. Let's walk together in pursuit of global progress. Not a single person should be left out or left behind in any corner of the world, from east to west, from south to north. Let's walk together, let's pursue together a positive ray, a positive hope in doing the betterment for children. In doing the betterment for children. Not a single child should be left from east to west, from north to south. He is including each and every child, whether it be black, whether it be brown, whether it be white, whether it be small, whether it be thin, whether it be malnourished, whether it be fat child, each and every person. He is addressing each and every child from the world. Let's speak together, let our minds come together, learning from the experiences of our ancestors. Let us together create knowledge for all that benefits all. Learning from our ancient times, learning from our ancestors, we should make sure that we create a mind, such a mind that we benefit all and all should benefit all. हम सबका भला करें और सब लोग सबका भला करते रहें. Okay, we should learn these things. Now, that doesn't mean that our ancestors did all the things right. We should learn from the mistakes they did, we should learn from the good things they did, and we should learn and try to make sure that we don't repeat those mistakes, and we should make sure that we repeat those good things we did, which they did. Okay? Doing something good, repeating something good won't harm any person. If you are repeating the mistakes, if you are repeating the bad things which happened in the past, that can harm the humanity coming in future. Okay? So that is called learning from the past. Okay? If you are learning from the past, you are creating a better future. You are creating opportunities for yourself in a positive way. Okay? I bow to my late parents. Late parents means the parents are no more. He is giving a respect to his parents. To my motherland, India. Secondly, he is respecting his country and his land. And to the mother earth, and then the earth. Okay? The mother, father who gave him birth, the land which he belongs to, India, and the planet which he belongs to, that is earth. He is giving respect to each and everything. Now when he says he respects India, he respects earth, he is respecting each and everything on the earth. Let it be the garbage, let it be the cleanest place on earth, let it be the sea, let it be the lakes, let it be the river, let it be snow, let it be the deserts. Each and everything he is addressing in a positive way. He is trying to give respect to each and everything on earth. With a warm heart, I recall how thousands of times I have been liberated. Each time I have freed a child from slavery. In the first smile of freedom on their beautiful faces, I see the God smiling. Now this is the most beautiful paragraph I can say that I have read in a time. Okay, what he says, whenever I give freedom to any child, I am not the person who is giving freedom to a child, but whenever a child is freed, whenever a child is liberated from slavery, from laborship, okay, कोई भी child को अगर मैं free करता हूँ, that particular thing gives me the happiness which no other power can give me. He is addressing that particular thing in a very positive way. He is saying that whenever I free a child from slavery or laborhood or something, whenever he sees the smile on the faces of those child or of those children, he feels like God is smiling in front of him, and that particular moment gives him utmost happiness which he is not getting anywhere on the earth. So this particular thing, we can say that he is liberating the children across the globe just for his peace and self-satisfaction. He is feeling very nice in doing that particular job. That's the reason he is doing that. Okay. I give the biggest credit to this honor to my movements Kalu Kumar, Dhumdas and others showed from India, Iqbal Masih from Pakistan, who made the supreme sacrifice for protecting the freedom and dignity of children. I humbly accept this award on behalf of all such martyrs, my fellow activists across the world and my countrymen. Now he is addressing few people from India and from Pakistan who gave their life, who sacrificed themselves, who made their contribution remarkable one, who helped Kailash Satyarthi in making this possible, who were the activists with Kailash Satyarthi and who were doing their job with Kailash Satyarthi in freeing, in liberating the children who were in slavery or in any of the particular thing which is creating a hindrance to their you can say that childhood. Okay. So he is saying that this particular award, let me remind you people that he is delivering a speech while receiving a Nobel Award. So he is saying, I dedicate this award to all those people who are with me, who were with me, who lost their life, who sacrificed their life, or you can say that who gave 100% with me. He dedicates that particular award to those people. Okay. My journey from the great land of Lord Buddha, Guru Nanak and Mahatma Gandhi, India to Norway is a connect between the two centers of global peace and brotherhood, ancient and modern. So beautifully written. He is saying that my journey from India to Norway. India is an ancient place. He is mentioning here India as an ancient place. Norway, a modern place, is a connect between two generations. Ancient and modern connects with each other. These particular things make one similar act possible, that is peace across the globe. From ancient, from the land of India, from the land of Guru Nanak, from the land of Buddha, from the land of Mahatma Gandhi till Norway, from the land of ancient times, from the land to the land of modern times, India and Norway are the two countries which have now been connected with the word called peace and child, liberating the child. Friends, the Nobel Committee has generously invited me to present a lecture. Respectfully, I am unable to do that because I am representing here the sound of silence, the cry of innocence and the face of invisibility. Now what he is saying that with the after delivering the speech, he is saying that after delivering the speech, the committee has asked me to deliver a lecture on what I do, deliver a lecture on child liberation. But he is saying, but very respectfully, I won't be able to take the lecture. He is giving the respect as well as he is giving his reason why he is not going to take the lecture, because he was here to express what children feel in his speech. Children feel slavery, children feel humiliated, children feel that they are not at all getting what they deserve. So these particular things he is addressing in his speech. Okay. I represent millions of those children who are left behind, and that's why I have kept an empty chair here as a reminder. He is saying that he knows that there are millions of children who are still left behind. There is still a lot of work to be done. There is still a lot of journey to be covered. So he is saying that just 83,000 children is not enough. We need more coverage on children. We need more people. We need more activists. We need more, number of children to get free from their slavery, free from their whatever hindrances their childhood. Okay. I have come here only to share the voices and dreams of our children, because they are all children gesture to everyone in the audience. He's addressing everyone in the audience like this, because everyone here is a children. I have looked into their frightened and exhausted eyes. I have held their injured bodies and felt their spirits broken. He says, I am here to address all the children. I have looked into their eyes and saw and have seen the frightened eyes, the exhausted body, the broken soul. He has felt each and every negativity happen to the children across the globe. So he feels each and everything very personally, and he wants that each and every person should help each and every child in the world to get free, to get liberated, to get free from slavery, to get free from the child labor ship. Okay. 20 years ago, in the foothills of Himalayas, I met a small skinny child laborer. Skinny means बहुत पतला, thin boy, ठीक है? He was in 20 years ago. He was in Himalayas and he met a child. He was skinny and he was a child laborer. He asked me, see, this statement is very goes into the depth of the chapter. He asked me, the child asked Kailash Satyarthi, is the world so poor that it cannot give me a toy and a book instead of forcing me to take a gun as a tool or a tool? Now he asked this man, Kailash Satyarthi, the boy asked the Kailash Satyarthi that, is the world so poor that it cannot give me a book or a toy to study and to play? Instead of that, the world is giving me the gun or tools to represent myself in a very huge way. He didn't have the answer. So he didn't mention anything in this speech about that particular. I met with the Sudanese child soldier. Sudanese matlab the person, a child who lives in Sudan. He was kidnapped by an extremist militia group. As his first training lesson, he was forced to kill his friends and family. He asked me, what is my fault? Now a military group kidnapped a child from Sudan. Okay? And they told him, your first lesson is to kill your friends and to kill your parents. And he killed, just because they trained him in a such a way. And then he met this person and asked him, what is my fault in all this particular thing? Why am I doing such thing? Why am I involved in all those things? Why am I doing such things which I never imagined in my life? Is gun my toy? Friends, all the great religions teach us to care for our children. Jesus said, let the children come to me, do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to them. Jesus said, now what he is addressing, that each and every religion in the world says that, each and every religion says that you have to protect your child and their childhood. It should be great, it should be beautiful. What Jesus said in his books, in Holy Book, Bible, he said, let the children come to me as the kingdom of God belongs to them. The kingdom of God belongs to the children. Okay? Second thing, the Holy Quran says, kill not your children because of poverty. What is written in Quran? Do not kill your child because of poverty. If you are poor and if you are unable to feed your child, try to make sure that you are feeding them. And you should not kill them because you don't have money. Okay? Similar things are written in each and every book, in Hinduism as well. Okay? Friends, there is no greater violence than to deny the dreams of our children. Therefore, I refuse to accept that all the temples and mosques and churches and prayer houses have no place for the dreams of our children. The greatest crime which we can do is to kill the dreams of our children. Okay? Kill the dreams of our children. Let them fly, let them live their life, let them commit mistakes, but they will learn from those mistakes and they will grow and they will make sure that they become a successful person in the future because they dreamed of something big. Okay, so he is telling that I refuse to accept that temples, churches and mosques, these three holy places, these three places of worship and whichever the places of worship across the world, he is not ready to accept that these places will not fulfill the dreams of children. He is telling that these places are having spiritual powers, these places are having peace in them, these places can give power to the children across the globe to make sure that the children fulfill their dreams. Okay, I refuse to accept that the world is so poor when just 1 week of global military expenditure can bring all the children to classroom. He is also telling that I refuse to accept that the world is poor because just a week of expenditure, just a week of military expenditure can gather all the students and bring them to the classroom. Okay, he is addressing the audience. You people are here from across the globe. He is addressing the audience that you all children have gathered here across the globe just to witness my speech, and this is just so small expenditure and you people are here from so far places. Okay, so he is telling the world is not poor, the world can fulfill each and every child and its dreams, but they don't want to do. I refuse to accept that all the laws and constitutions, police and judges are unable to protect our children. He is refusing this thing as well, that all the laws, all the judges, police, each and every constitution in the world has no power to fulfill the dreams of children. He is not at all ready to accept that. He is saying that these particular things can fulfill the dreams, but if it is not happening, that means somewhere or around there is something wrong. I refuse to accept that the shackles of slavery can ever be stronger than the quest of freedom. I refuse to accept here. He is saying that is slavery bigger than freedom? He is not ready to accept this particular thing. He is not ready to accept that slavery is bigger than freedom. He is ready to accept this particular thing, that freedom is bigger than slavery, and therefore that particular thing should be a part of each and every child and its life. My only aim in life is that every child is free to be a child. His only aim in life is that every child should live a life like a child and not what we want. Every child should be free to grow and develop, free to eat, sleep and see daylight, free to laugh and cry, free to play and learn, free to go to school, and above all, free to dream. These are the things which he is demanding from the audience, which he is addressing to the audience, that a child deserves all these things. Okay, I have the privilege of working with many courageous people who have the same aim. We have never given up against any threat or attack, and we never will. He says that I am working with so many people who thinks like me, who are alike me, and we receive many death threats, we receive many attacks, but still, apart from such negativities, we never give up and we never, you can say that, get distracted from the focus which we are on. Okay? We have made progress in the last couple of decades. We have reduced the number of out of school children by half. We have reduced the number of child laborers by a third. We have reduced child mortality and malnutrition. We have prevented billions of child deaths. They have prevented many children deaths. Okay? They have prevented many children from malnutrition, from slavery, from laborership, from many negativities. Okay? So they have given certain, he is mentioning his progress in past few years. Okay? In the start of the chapter we mentioned that he has progressed and he has served his services to 83,000 and more children. Okay, so it is not a small number. We have utterly failed our children in imparting an education. an education that gives the meaning of objective of life, an education that gives a sense of global citizenship among the youth. We have failed to recognize that our children need education, our children need proper education, and if we are not delivering that particular thing, we are not, you can say that we are not giving them the proper meaning of life, we are not giving them proper meaning to live a life. They are the youth, the coming youth of the country, and hence they are not able to do what they want, they are not able to pursue the act which youth does. Okay, I am afraid that the day is not very far away when the cumulative result of this failure will culminate in an unprecedented violence, and that will be a suicidal for humankind. Now what he says that the day is not far, वो दिन दूर नहीं है जब ये फेलियर ऑफ एजुकेशन, ये जब हम लोग बच्चों को हमारे बचा नहीं पा रहे. The reason I am telling you these things are when we are not able to fulfill the dreams of our children, when we are not able to give our children the childhood which they deserve, this will result in a suicidal act. If they are not getting what they want, if they are living a life of slave, if they are not breathing freely, that means they don't have a reason to live. That's the reason they can commit suicide, or you can say that it will be a suicidal act for humankind. It will be a death of it will be a death of a child, and whole mankind or humankind can get destroyed. We can say that whole humankind got suicide. Okay. Rights, security, hope can only be restored through education. So we need to give them proper education to make sure that they understand what is their right, what is right for them, what are their rights and what is right for them. Young people like Malala, I have started calling her my daughter Malala, not just Malala. So my daughter Malala and other daughter, including Kainat. In fact, two, Kainat and Shazia, and the daughters from Africa and from all over the world, they are rising up and choosing peace over violence, tolerance over extremism, and courage over fear. Malala is a girl from Pakistan, okay, and she has written many books also. And second thing, he is addressing Malala as the daughter, and Kainat and Shazia and daughters from Africa. Many people, like, they don't have any blood relations, but still they are courageous and they are like an activist who are working with him. So he is very proud of them. So he addresses them as his daughters. They are not choosing fear, they are not choosing extremism, they are not choosing violence, but they are choosing courage and freedom over all these things. The solutions are emerging, but these solutions cannot be found in deliberations in conferences alone, and cannot be found in prescriptions from a distance. From a distance, I am staying in India, and from Norway someone is calling me and saying, addressing me the problems of children. I cannot guide you from India. I cannot give you prescriptions and suggestions on the phone calls, on the video conferences. I cannot discuss and the problems will get solved in conferences. We need to go on ground level. We need to work over there. We need to make sure that we are serving our physical services as well, not just on the papers. They lie in small groups and local organizations and individuals who are confronting with the problems every day. Even if they remain unacknowledged, unrecognized and unknown to the world, the solutions are with them. Okay. Now the problem is the the children who are in slavery or laborership or any of the atrocities, those children lie in small groups. Their problems never come in front of the world, and hence their problems are unseen, neglected. So the children were, isolated and were at different places, and they were in small groups. So the problems which they are facing they have the solution too, but they don't know that they have solution. So if we find those children, if we find and help them, we can ultimately remove them from those atrocities, remove them from those problems, and give them a better life. Okay, so this was just a part 1. Part 2 and 3 we will be continuing in next 2 lectures. Okay, so thank you so much. Bye bye.